Hey everyone, hey, Percy here. Look, as you can see, I'm trying to edit this video here. This is part 2. It was getting too long, so I had to make it 2 parts of this video. So this is me editing the second part, and we're gonna jump into part 2, and we'll get back to part 2 of the Kevin's English Room. Give me about 5,000 likes. I'd appreciate that very much, and let's get into the video.
プレイヤー2番さんは、
プレイヤー兄さん、ここにいます。Really? Really? Me?
次の3番のユミさん、発音お願いします。
Really?
ネイティブじゃないの
Really?
Which country did you live in the longest?
Japan?
Wow. So the last contestant they're checking her English is a very
A few moments later.
she has definitely went outside of Japan for her English. Even though she said she lived in Japan the most of her life, I believe maybe she lived at least 8 to 10 years in the United States. The way she speaks English is a very clear native sounding English to me. Yeah, I think she is definitely not a person who learned their English all within Japan.
では、ユミさんお願いします。Which country did you live in the longest?
Japan.
はいはいはいはいはい。
ジャパンの人の発音じゃないって。まあ、それ、
I don't know. The last person, the last woman who spoke, she still sounds like she's just a very good student and learn her English while staying in Japan, possibly. Because I hear some very interesting English in her pronunciation.
日本の差で感じたカルチャーショックは何ですか？
こちら日本語で回答ですね。
なるほど。
マイマイさんね。
はい。日本語でいいんだね。
日本語で大丈夫です。
通学がアメリカだとスクールバスとかで、日本だと電車。
The Pledge of Allegiance を言ってたんですけど、日本ではその習慣がなくてびっくりしました。
Okay, now we're going to look for the results of Yumi. Yumi learned her English the most, or learned her English outside of Japan. So let's see.
では、ユミさん、あなたは帰国子女じゃありませんね。
私は帰国子女ではありません。
マジっすか
マジで
そのぐらいのちょっとだけ言ってたみたいな感じですか？
2歳の時に4ヶ月だけ住んでました。
なるほど。
2歳の4ヶ月関係ないってね。
もう無だよね。
もう無だよ。
それ以来は日本なんですか？
ずっとインターナショナルスクールも行ってない。
マジで
マジで
インターナショナルスクール行ってないんだ。
普通の中高。
公立の学校にずっと行っている。
Interesting. So her English level, I think I might be confusing her. No. Actually, I guess that her English was that she learned it in Japan, because I heard her Japanese accent under her speaking. Even though she has very good English, I did hear that. So yeah, I did hear that, and I was correct. She did stay in Japan and learned her Japanese or her English here. So it's very surprising though. If you study, apparently she studied a lot. I took a lot of conversational English classes and did things like that. So it's very, 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 very good high level of English on her. And you can do the same thing as long as you study your English. Remember that English is not just written, and written English is different than speaking English. And speaking conversational Eikaiwa is also, you have business English, you got straight up Eikaiwa, and then you have social English. You have a lot of different types. So let's move on to some others before I end this. Let's see what else do we have here.
早口言葉でございます。How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? これ3回ですからね。3回言いますよ。早口言葉で3回。では、プレイヤー。
Wow. Okay. So that is a good trap there with Kevin's English Room. That is a good way. That is what we call a tongue twister in English. So we use that even in elementary school. We teachers or schools use that to help students clearly speak English and clearly pronounce English. We use tongue twisters. And that is what that was. That's a very good a very good trick to trap the person, because you will detect a lot if they do not pronounce this tongue twister correctly. So let's get into it. I'm interested in hearing or seeing the results, hearing and seeing the results of this one.
1ですね。バーバーさん。
How can I clam cram in a clean cream can? ちょっと言えないマジで。How can clam cram in a clean cream can? How
Okay, already I can tell she doesn't have native English level. I can already tell by her pronunciation.
clam cram?
Now, does that mean she didn't go out of Japan to learn some English? Maybe she studied at a university and she didn't fine tune her pronunciation. That still could happen. I don't know, but you could very clearly hear the mispronunciation and the separation between the R's and the L's.
Clam cram.
Now, I have spoken to many Japanese people who have studied in the United States, or they stayed in the United States and worked, and after a while, their English pronunciation basically the exact same as a native English speaker. So it just depends sometimes on the person. Yeah, it does depend sometimes. I got a little funny story about that. I'll tell you in a second. But maybe at the end of this video, I'll share a little story with my personal life that may be interesting to you about English.
なるほどね。難しいね。国士女っぽかったな。的には。
ミスり方も含めて。
そうだね。How can I? って言ったからね。How can I に言い慣れてる感はあるよね。では、サモサさんお願いします。
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
絶対に絶対に
ネイティブ。
Okay, yeah. So, yes, I heard it. Remember, I'm an English teacher. I heard it very clearly, and I detected it that she definitely has native English skill. Maybe she's just from America, or she stayed while she was a child in America first, maybe for so many years, and then maybe moved to Japan. I don't know what the story is. Maybe we'll find out, but yes, that's how using tongue twisters. I can tell she learned tongue twisters as well, because that was very clear way how to go through that. Very clear English. You could hear
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
her native English through that. So very cool, very interesting. Let's move on.
では、テラピーさんお願いします。
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh wow. Okay. Now, oh man, now it's possible. I have made a little bit of a mistake. Maybe I made a mistake. I'm not so sure. You can tell he made some mistakes in his version. So I don't think he's a native speaker at all. No. You can tell a very big difference between him.
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
And the last person's.
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
So, yeah, I don't think so at all.
はい、マイさんお願いします。
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
おー、すげえ。うまいね。うまい。
絶対アメリカだよ。
Yes, last person, she definitely had the native English level. So remember, two of these people do not have native English level. We found one of them, but this person, I think the second is the man that spoke earlier. And I think everyone else here either they grew up in America and Japan, or they spent a lot of time in America studying through school or something like that. Or not necessarily America. It could be the UK or Australia. Or Canada. It doesn't matter. But what I mean is a native English speaking country. It could be Ghana or Kenya or New Zealand. Who knows? So I think that everyone is cleared up. So I think the older gentleman, with the gray hair is, I think he learned his English as well in Japan and never left. That would make sense to me.
How can I climb from in a clean clean camp? How can I climb from in a clean clean camp? How can I climb from in a clean clean camp?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Wow. So yeah, even his. So now it's between those two. But remember the prompt or the question is, can we guess who learned all of their English while staying in Japan? Meaning, who did not leave Japan? So it's, I'm flipping. I'm kind of changing around a little bit, but it's this. It means the same thing. It has the same meaning. They learned all of their English in Japan. It's easy to tell some, but some others are a little difficult. Okay. And he is a little bit difficult. So we will see.
いいですか？はい。セラフィーさん、あなたは帰国子女じゃありませんね。
私は帰国子女です。
ちなみに、レオさんは
帰国子女じゃないです。
マジか。すごい。レオさんはどういう経歴の持ち主なんですか？
いや、本当に日本生まれ日本育ちで3ヶ月間だけイギリスに、本当に旅行みたいな感じで行っただけです。はい。それだけです。
じゃあ
Interesting concept. It turns out that the one that I thought was English, but when the tongue twister he messed up or he spent some time, that is correct. The other guy learned all of his English in Japan. Pretty cool concept. What can we learn from this episode? Number one, English has accents. There's an American accent. There's also a British accent, and there's a Australian accent. Now, yes, before people add additional ones, yes, I do know South African English. There's an accent there. I know there are New Zealand English. There's an accent there. There's also even nuances and accents, of course, in countries like Kenya and Ghana. So yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that in Japan, there tends to be only three strong accents that the Japanese learner is picking up and using. Those are the United States, the British, and the Australian. Those are the major ones. So our second takeaway is you can get better at pronouncing English using tongue twisters. When you start using tongue twisters, you will hear where you are making mistakes in your pronunciation of the word. So yeah, this is something that we as American children are taught in elementary school. Maybe first grade, we start learning tongue twisters and practicing them to learn how to have a more clearer and native English sound, where we understand our words, and everyone that we talk to understands our words as well. So yeah, that's why we use this. So that's a third takeaway. And the that's the second takeaway.
Come on now, dog.
The third takeaway is that even though you are able to learn English in another country, or even a native speaker, there are different levels. And because you went over to another country, let's say for university, or you live there another year, you may or may not get that clear native accent. But you can also study in Japan and still have a very high level of understanding English and have a high level of understanding how to speak English clearly. So yeah, these were very good examples. It's really at the top where I can hear that really, really clear native accent, or the ability to just speak through a tongue twister. This was a very good episode, I guess, a video to look at. I will go ahead and leave a link in the description down below to this particular video from Kevin's English Room. If you haven't seen it all, if you want to check out their version and have me out of it, that's cool. Go ahead and listen to check that out and enjoy that. Don't forget to listen to the podcast version of this. This is a podcast. This is the video, a YouTube video of it, but the full version of the podcast is on the Social English Podcast, where you will hear the entire episode, the entire video, not just this short version, and get some more hints and more thoughts from me. This is Percy from the Social English Podcast, and see you next time. Peace and love. Don't forget, right now, go and hit the like button. Hit that like button right now. Right now. Stop. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Hit the like button right now.